Mira and HarperAudio present Hasty Wedding by Debbie Macomber, performed by Tanya Eby. Prologue. Why did it have to be her? Reed Tenasket asked himself as he strolled into the Toulouse library. Claire Gilroy was standing at the front desk, a pair of reading glasses riding the bridge of her pert nose. She glanced up when he entered the front door, and, as always, Reed experienced a familiar ache at the sight of her. He guessed she was holding her breath, as though she were afraid. Not of him, but of what he might do. He had a reputation, well earned during his youth, as a rabble-rouser. Being half Indian added flavor to the stories circulating town about him. Some were true, while others were fiction in the purest form. His grandfather, in his great wisdom, had wanted Reed to appreciate the part of himself that was not Indian. From ages 10 to 12, Reed had attended school off the reservation. Until that time, Reed had thought of himself as part of the Toulouse tribe, not white. He hadn't wanted to become like the white man, nor had he been eager to learn the ways of his mother's people. But his grandfather had spoken, and so Reed had attended the white man's school in town. Those years had been the worst of his life. He'd fought every boy in the school who challenged him, and nearly everyone had. Usually he was obliged to take on 2 or 3 at a time. He defied his teachers, resisted authority, and became the first boy ever expelled from the Toulouse school district while still in grade school. Perhaps it was his blunt Indian features that continued to feed the rumors, or the way he wore his thick black hair in heavy braids. It amused him that he caused such interest in Toulouse, but frankly he didn't understand it. In reality, he was pretty tame these days, but no one around town had seemed to notice. Certainly Claire Gilroy hadn't. Whenever he came into the library, she eyed him with concern, as though she suspected he was going to leap atop a bookcase and shout out a piercing war cry. Then again, Reed could be overreacting. He had a tendency to do that where Claire was concerned. Reed longed to reveal his feelings for her, but words were not the Indian way. He couldn't think of how to tell Claire he was attracted to her and not sound like a fool. Nor was he convinced his love was strong enough to bridge their cultural differences. He was half Indian, and she was a beautiful Anglo. Reed walked to the back of the library toward the mystery section. He could feel Claire's gaze follow him. It pleased him to know he had her attention, if even for those few moments, which wasn't something likely to happen often. Then why her? Why did he lie awake nights, dreaming of holding her in his arms? Why was it Claire Gilroy he wanted, more than any woman he'd ever known? He could find no logic for his desire. Even now he had trouble remembering that he wasn't pure Indian. His blood was mixed, diluted by a mother who was blonde and pure and sweet. She'd died when he was 4, and the memories of her remained foggy and warm. He understood well his Indian heritage, but he'd ignored whatever part of him was white, the same way he ignored his desire for this uptight librarian. If Reed had required an answer for his preoccupation with Claire, it was that she intrigued him. She presented a facade of being proper and untouchable, yet he sensed a fire in her, an eagerness to break free of her self-imposed reserve. He saw in her a fragile spirit yearning to soar. In his mind, he gave her the Indian name of Laughing Rainbow, because he felt in her a deeply buried joy that was ready to burst to life and spill out into the full spectrum of colors so bright they would rival that of a rainbow. That she was involved with Jack Kingston didn't set well with Reed. He'd waited, dreading the time he learned of their marriage. The white man wasn't right for her, but Reed could do nothing. He wasn't right for her either, and so, like a green 17-year-old boy, he dreamed of making love with the one woman he knew he could never have. 1. If Jack said he'd be here, then he will, Claire Gilroy insisted, although she wasn't the least bit convinced it was true. Aaron Davis, Claire's closest friend, glanced
Sample complete. Ready to continue?